Hello, welcome to our new video. On this one, we are looking into a different topic altogether. So far we have been looking into AI Center and document understanding to learn more about those products and be prepared for the specialized AI certification. But as a part of the certification, we have one more thing, which is the communications mining. And this video is the start of that communications mining topics for the specialized AI certification preparation guide. Let's get started. This is the first one for comms mining. Before we start, let's actually have a look on what communication mining is and why it is really needed. So we can actually start by the comms mining overview course in the academy. Over here, it has a lot of information, so I will try to cover some of those things in this video. So previously, we talked about document processing that includes structured, semi-structured documents. But when we say communications, what are we referring to? In this one, we are referring to the internal communications that happen within an organization. This could be communications within the organization between different departments, different teams, or with people outside the organization. This could be different companies, customers, and so on. So all these communications happen through different media. Most of the time, this communication is unstructured. So we need to spend a lot of time to understand these communications and analyze them if we are to find different opportunities where we can improve as a part of the communication or as a part of how we do things within the organization to support their requirements. So communication mining is mostly about processing digital unstructured communications data that can come in through emails, tickets, survey responses, or case notes. Remember these things. It's emails, tickets, survey responses, and case notes. These are the things that can come as a part of communication. You may think that there are different other ways we communicate, but for the communications mining in UiPath, these are the main things that it supports. That's again emails, tickets, survey responses, and case notes. So those are the things we work with when we are working with UiPath Communications Mining. In order to understand this, now when we talk about communication, it's about natural language processing. We need to find ways to understand the natural language, and that's where comms mining has its own capabilities to process this natural language and extract the information that we are looking for. This information could be different entities, sentiments, and different classifications of these emails, like what kind of email that is, where should it be routed to. For example, an email could be related to hardware issues. Another email could be related to software licensing. So all these things we need to understand for us to better respond to these different communications that we get. So it's all about natural language processing. Okay, so what's the definition of communications mining? It is a field where we understand and extract values from communications data, and this is unstructured information that we talked about. And the purpose of communications mining is to convert unstructured data into structured and more relatable information so that we can use it for analytics and even to do other processing in downstream applications or in other automations. So that's the whole purpose of communications mining. In terms of where communications mining fit in the different quadrants we have in UiPath platform, it fits into the discover state. So this is where communications mining is. because here we mostly look into how we can optimize optimize how we do the communication and how we improve other processes as a part of comms mining. So that's why it is in here. And using this communications mining, we can also identify a lot more automation opportunities. So you can see we have like three different mining uh, tools here: process mining, task mining, and comms mining. So there's a significant difference between the three. So let's get into that as well. But for now, comms mining stands in discover. However, I mentioned that this can be used for different things. So in the same communications mining overview course, if if we look into this section, which is under why should you use UiPath Communications Mining. So as mentioned before, comms mining can be used for analytics or automation category or even both. So what does that mean? So though it is in the discover quadrant, we can use it for these things. And if it's for analytics, we can use comms mining to understand historical communications, identify, quantify, and prioritize transformation opportunities within the organization. And also, we can use this to understand the customer feedback and how we can improve your customer service and and improve the customer experience when it comes to communicating with the organization. Additionally, we can also use comms mining to set up alerts, notify relevant parties about high risk events based on analyzing your information or based on the information that's available in the emails or any other communication media that we are using. So these are some things we can do with communications mining related to analytics. Now let's look at the automation use cases. We can also use comms mining to basically classify your communication and prioritize based on the information. Also route the information into the related people so that everything gets addressed much more efficiently and gets prioritized based on the information available. Also, you can use comms mining to connect with your service desk activities so that you can do some automation around those things while you support your customers. Not just that, we can also use for um, to connect it with different other tools like downstream applications so that you can easily pass that information to those applications once you have them extracted into a structured format. So you can do quite a lot of stuff with comps mining. That being said, now let's get back to the place we were before. Yeah, so I wanted to show about this, the process mining, task mining, and communications mining. So all three are in the discover state and they do support the process discovery, but they do it in different ways. Process mining is mostly focused on extracting raw data from ERP or any other core applications that you have within the organization. So it will basically extract the logs of those applications and try to identify different bottlenecks and improvement areas. It will generate reports, graphs based on the information so that you can do further analysis and find how you can improve the process or enhance the process, and where possible, how you can introduce automation. Task mining is a different thing. Task mining focus on how people work with different applications. So with task mining, you can actually record the user input and analyze how they do things and find uh, find specific activities within that recorded process to improve and automate. So process mining looks into the logs. Task mining looks into how users do things in by interacting with the different applications. Communications mining, on the other hand, it works with communication data and tries to transform unstructured data into structured form. But with comms mining, you can do a lot of things. You can identify pain points, you can identify where we have issues, and even connect with other applications within the UiPath platform like document understanding and introduce automation solutions for those identified scenarios. So comms mining also has some interesting documentation. I like to show some of those things. So over here, this is one image that I found, and this is from the documentation they have given. So comms mining was earlier known as reinfer. Now it is communications mining. And this documentation actually helps you, along with the UiPath Academy course, to get a better understanding about how certain things are done in communications mining. So over here, if you look at this image, and I'm now in this page where, let me just quickly show you, communications mining overview. It's under getting started and introductions to communications mining. So over here, look at this image. This image tells you how this communications mining work in high level. So it deals with, it works on machine learning, natural language processing, and it also uses a concept of employee-led supervised learning, and that gives you a no-code platform where you can train the model based on your communications data to identify those things that we talked about earlier. And you can connect it to different channels like emails, ticketing, service desk, and CRM information. And once you have that information, you can take it and send it through different stages in communications mining, which is called connect, discover, train, and validate, which we will be looking into at later videos. But the idea here is once you have it, you train your model, you have something ready, then you can feed that information into either your RPA automation solutions that you have already created, or you can send that information to different applications via API or any other means. So this kind of connects your communication data with your enterprise solutions and automation. And this is another one that I wanted to show you. And this is again from that same documentation, how and where communications mining can be deployed. All this information is important for you to get an understanding about how this works and on what data it can work. So here also we repeat some of the content that we already looked at, but I wanted to show this one. So we know what kind of data it can work with, but as of now, it only supports those things. But for now, it doesn't work with the real-time call or chat data. But for historical chat information, if you have a large volume, yes, you can use it with communications mining. But for now, it works on this specific data types. And earlier, I mentioned that you can connect communications mining with document understanding. Does that mean that communications mining have a native way to connect with document understanding? No. What can happen is if you're dealing with emails, all these emails can get information in the email body and also in attachments. So communications mining deal with the subject and the email body, the information that's available in those places, basically in the email. But for the attachments that you can send to document understanding, and you can use the pre-trained models or any other custom models that you have to process those documents and extract that information so that you can make more sense about that conversation. Probably part of this conversation happens in the attachment. So if you combine the two, that gives you a powerful um that gives you a very powerful combination, because you can combine that information and do more activities based on that information that you extract. Another one that I want to show. So basically, when it comes to communications mining and RPA, you can connect both. You can get the data from comms mining and pass it to different RPA solutions. So this documentation kind of shows you a small graphical view how this can be done. So basically, you can use comms mining, extract the information from those messages, and you can pass it to different queues in the UiPath orchestrator. Then the queues can be used as a triggering point for different automation processes to take care of the downstream activities. This can be anything. It can be interacting with another application. It can be extracting more information based on that information you got from the email. It could be anything. So you can connect it with any automation solution that you already have in your orchestrator, which is unattended. And you can even use that information to do human in the loop activities. So this is how you connect comms mining with the other RPA solutions that you have. And same goes for document understanding. So this is some information that we talked about earlier, how this can be connected. And here there is another nice diagram that explains how these things connect. So with NLP, you extract the information, but for the attachments, that goes to document understanding, where you extract that information. And in combination, you can pass the document data to another RPA process to do the other work based on what you want to do. Or else you can combine the DU extracted data and the communications data, send both to specific RPA solutions where you need to do more analytics or other activities. So it all connects at the end. So basically, this is what communications mining is, and this is how it works. So as of now, we talked about what communication mining is, why it is important, and how it can be deployed, how it can be connected with document understanding and other RPA solutions, the supported data types. And now let's quickly look at the platform. So in this UiPath Communications Mining overview course, there is a section where you can where they explains how you can navigate through the platform. So I do have access to communications mining, but I'm not allowed to show that in my YouTube. So I'll have to for now stick with the screenshots that we have here. So let's try our best to understand how this works and how you can get the understanding about comms mining and how it all works together. So let's get started. In this section, this is actually the first screen. Once you get into communications mining, this is the first screen that you get. So this basically shows the new data sets that you have configured in your communications mining session. You can create a new data set based on the information that you have extracted, or you can connect it with different data sources by providing the API keys and so on, so that you get the data to work with. once you have configured your data set, you can click on either of these three buttons. Explore will take you to another page where you can actually start doing the labeling and and you can look at your different data that you have in a more visual way. And the reports will help you to get an understanding about the reports that you can create. So we'll go into all these details a bit later, but this is how you get started. Um, and once you get into the once you click on those buttons, then you will get into this screen where you see these different tabs: train, discover, explore, validate, and so on. And the three buttons that you saw earlier was referring to this: train, explore, and the reports. So you can navigate through these options. So when it comes to the training page, this is where you can see how your model is performing, how your data set is contributing to the model accuracy levels. And this train the train page is more like a guided experience for the people, where it actually tells you how good your model is and what are the areas that you need to spend more time and improve, like, or what are the areas that requires your attention, so that those areas can also improve based on your manual input. So this trend screen will give you information like what you see over here. So if there are any underperforming information where you don't have enough information, it will highlight those things here, so that on this screen itself you can navigate to that place, you can look at the data, and you can do the labeling to improve the model accuracy. So when I say labeling, it's something very similar to what you do with the documents when you're training a document understanding model, where you go to document manager and you do the labeling. In this one, you don't go to document manager, but it has its own platform, but it does kind of a similar thing, where you need to do labels to specify the information that needs to be captured. Again, how to do that in another video. And yeah, so you can look into this information where it explains all these different tabs, so that you can get to know more. And this is more of an administration view where you can do some settings to your environment. So anyway, the first screen that you get is this data set. Then you get into that training page, which I showed you earlier. And here is another screen. So here you can see it is showing underperforming levels, where you can actually go there and look at the data and see why it is underperforming and see how you can improve it. So these are the things where it was not able to do automatically, and it requires your attention. The next page is the Discover, which is our second tab. And as you see here, Discover can do two things. It helps you discover interesting clusters of verbatims. Verbatims are referring to emails, different email messages. So it clusters these emails based on the information, and you can see all those things in the Discover screen. In addition to that, you can also do extra labeling on that screen itself, not just for one email, but you can do it for a bulk in that screen. So that screen will look like this. In the Discover, you can see these filters over here. So by default, it will show you different clusters. And for a page, by default, you see six verbatims like this. But you can change this and you can get it up to 12 verbatims per page. And based on the number of emails you have, you can have different page navigations, but also you can navigate through different clusters from this option over here, so that you can actually see all those information by just glancing through it, so that you don't need to open each and every option that you see here. In addition to that, you can also do some of the labeling activities on this screen itself, so that once you add a label here, and again we'll discuss how you do the labeling and what really these labels are in another video, but just get an idea how it works on different screens. So if you add a label here, it kind of applies to all the all the verbatims that you see here. So you can add it for everything at once, or you can add it for each email uh, in here separately. So basically you can do that, and you can even invert the selection over here so that it works on the other way around. So that's how you work with clusters. But there is another option here. In this view mode, there are two options. One is the cluster view, which you are seeing right now. The other one is a search view. So that I cannot interact with it because there's a screenshot. So when you select search, you will see another search bar over here, right next to it, where you can search for keywords and search for specific information. And based on what you type there, it will show the search results. So let's say, for example, I want to search for the keyword policy. And if I search that, it will show all the verbatims that contains the policy in its header, which is the subject on or the email body, so that we can work with specific information at a given time on this discover page. While you do things, it will automatically update your model in the background so that it doesn't need to wait until you're complete with your activities. The next screen is the Explore, and this is more of a place where you can filter and search for individual verbatims, and you can even do training on this screen. This screen will look similar to this, where you can just highlight some of this text and assign that to different entities, or like different labels. Again, what these entities and labels in another session. Don't rush for now, but just these are the things we can do with these different screens. And there are different options in these drop downs as well. We'll look into those things as we go on. And once you are done, we can also validate that information through the next screen, where you can see how your labels and your entities and other metrics looks like, so that you can find areas to improve and to get the overall idea how your model is working. And so you basically have different options in this validate page. In the reporting page, you have again a lot of reports where you can see different customizable dashboards on different things um, on your data based on your labeling. So yes, so I think this covers the overview course that we wanted to look at. So I think let's get started with this information, and we'll get into more detail as we go on. And since this is the first one, I think this is a good start for us to get started with communications mining and get a quick understanding about what it is and how it works. So in the following videos, we'll see how these things can be used and what are these keywords that I mentioned time to time, like verbatims, labels, entities, and those things. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to post it here in the comment section, or else you can reach out to me directly, and I'll reply to you. So in the meantime, happy learning. Let me know if there's anything else that I need to cover, or if you don't understand anything, I'm happy to help. So until then, have a good day, and I'll see you in another video.